So this is an Elddis Crusader Super Sirocco. I'm going to take you around the van and show you how it works. Front of the van, you've got your jockey wheel, hitch and handbrake. We'll take you through this in person here on site. In the front locker, you have your gas bottle tie downs where you can carry a maximum of 2 6-kilogram propane gas bottles. And in the front locker itself, you actually have a gas changeover valve. So it works a little bit differently to most regulators. Essentially, you can have 2 gas pipes connected at any time to 2 gas bottles. And in the centre here, you actually have a valve where you can change over the gas supply. You'll notice on the side of here, it's got a little arrow. Whichever gas bottle that arrow is pointing to will be the side that the gas flows through. And also you'll notice when you turn on the gas bottle, this red piece here will actually go green to let you know the gas supply is on or you've got gas available. If that ever goes red when the gas is turned on, it potentially means the gas bottle has run out. Coming down the side of the van, you have your wind down legs on either side of the front, and they are there to stabilise the caravan. They are not there for lifting the van, as it could potentially damage the floor of the caravan if you did lift the van off the ground with these. You've then got your battery box with your mains connectors. They are actually quick release terminals on here. During the winter I would advise that you disconnect one of those, or disconnect both from the top of the battery, so that it doesn't put any residual charge through the van and drain the system down. You've then got your mains power lead coming to the side of the van, as you can see, and that is connected to the power on site. Also in that side locker, the little black piece you see sticking out the side there is actually the motor mover power switch, and again that will be demonstrated to you here on site. On the side of the van you have your water pump connection. Now with these water pumps you actually pull this up to release it, this little cap here, which also covers the housing when the housing is not in use. You'll push the pump into the side of the van, then lock that back down in place to allow the pump to stay in position. Then have your Elddis heating flue for your gas systems on board the heating and hot water systems. You never cover this up at all, you always allow it open, leave it open so it can breathe as it needs to. Then got your 2 motor movers on the van. The motor movers will demonstrate while you're here on site. They are auto engage motor movers. So again, we'll run you through the system of how that works, and we'll also torque the wheel nuts so you know they have been tightened correctly. And we do recommend that you torque the wheel nuts before every travel, just so you know they are tight and to not cause any issue. Torque wrenches are available from places like Argos, etc., or Tool Station, them sort of places, and they aren't an expensive thing to buy. Worth having one in your caravan. You've then got your 2 grey waste pipes. So the fresh water that goes in the front of the caravan has to come out somewhere, so you'll put your 2 bits of grey pipe into the side of the van here, and you'll push them in, and then they'll drop down inside your waste master, and that is for the water that comes out the sinks and the shower on board the van. You've then got your toilet tank at the back of the caravan. Now if you're caravan full, you'll know this is normally the man's job. So you'll open up that locker, let me go and grab the keys for that, and I'll be back with you. So with the toilet locker, you have an orange handle at the bottom here, so you can release the handle and pull the cassette towards you. The neck here turns out so you can tip the waste away, and the grey cap is actually a measure for your blue fluid. On the back of the cassette you've got an orange pressure relief button, so essentially when you're tipping the waste away you can press that button in and it'll allow the waste to come out the cassette a lot smoother so it doesn't spit and splatter back at you, which is the last thing you want with a toilet waste cassette. When you're travelling, we do advise that you empty the tank before travelling, as weight at the back of a caravan can cause issues with stability. On either side of the van at the rear you have your wind down legs to stabilise the van. Now as I said at the front, they are just there for stabilising the van, they are not there for lifting the van. Coming down the door side of the van, you'll first see a storage locker for underneath the bed at the rear, so you can essentially open that locker up and you'll be able to access the storage under the bed. Have your 2 fridge vents, so essentially the fridge vents are there to allow some hot air at the back of the fridge unit and to take some cool air in. And then behind one of those there'll also be a gas flue for when you're running the fridge on gas. At the top, the 2 vents you see there are for the microwave. As we come forward on the van, you've got a storage locker here as well, which you can open up and you can access the storage underneath the bed. And also in there you'll find a plug for putting 240 volt power out to your awning, for instance, and an aerial connection. Wind down leg again through the little hole at the front there, and then you've got your barbecue gas point where you very simply have a brass fitting that pushes into place, and you'll need to turn the tap on so it's in line with the pipe work, so it allows the gas to flow through there. Coming onto the inside of the caravan now, As you come in the caravan on the left hand side, we've actually marked up the switches just so you can get used to the van. Master power switch for the pole of the caravan, so once that is turned on, you'll have power to all the controls and the lighting, etc. on board. You've got your awning light on the left, on the switch just here, and you've got your offside light for the offside locker, or on the offside of the van where your water connection is. And then you have your main power switch for the master 12-volt lighting system. The auxiliary lights that go around the van will need to be turned off manually. Then have your water pump controls, which I'll come back to in a moment, your voltmeter, and your onboard water tank level. First thing we're going to do is fill the water system up. So you're going to come over to every tap on board the caravan. You're going to open all the taps up on the hot side of the water system. As you can see, I've already actually filled the system. But to fill the hot water tank on board the van, which you'd have had on previous caravans, or your previous caravan, you actually open all the taps up on the hot side. Then underneath the seat on the right hand side front of the van, you will actually find in here a hot water tank, very similar to what you've had before. So the drain down valve itself is actually underneath this bit of black pipe work here. We see this blue pipe running just through underneath there. That yellow valve, you need to make sure is parallel with the floor when you fill the water system up. If it is not, the water system, when you turn the water pump on, will allow the water to go straight onto the floor underneath the caravan. So like I said, at the moment we are filling the hot water tank directly from the aqua roll. So to do this, like I said, all the taps open on the hot side, yellow valve parallel with the floor. Now obviously you've caravan before, so as you know, you would never leave the water system full during the winter, as it could potentially freeze the water system up and crack the pipework and tank. To fill the water system up, you're going to need to flick the switch on just here, and then turn on the water pump here. At that point, when the water system starts filling, you can see it a little bit slow to start with, it's getting a little bit of air out of the system. But once the water system is full, you'll have water running continuously out of every tap on board the caravan. Once you do have water running out of every tap on board the caravan, you can then shut all of the taps back off. It's taking a little bit longer than it normally does, so I'm just going to demonstrate without filling the system up. So we're going to shut all the taps off, and at that point then you can start filling the water, start heating the water. If you wish to fill the onboard water tank, which is just under the seat down there, you'll need to make sure on the side of the water tank itself that the drain down valve that is on here, which is actually just down in that back corner, as you can see there, is closed, so it allows that water system to fill up. If that valve is open, again, if you try and fill this tank up, the water will just drain back onto the floor underneath the caravan. So valve parallel with the floor prior to filling the system up. At that point, you can come over to the control panel again just by the door. Sorry, I'm just climbing out from underneath the bed. You'll be able to come to the control panel by the door, and you'll be able to put the pump onto internal. At that point, it will start drawing the water up to the onboard water tank, which will allow the water system to fill from the outside tank, and then you can press the view level here, which will eventually bring up 100% so that water tank is completely full. So you have to do it in the same way: yellow valve shut, taps open, etc. And then instead of going into external, you go to internal on the control panel just here. Once that system is full, as we said, you can then start heating the water up. Now on the control panel here, just as you come in the door on the left hand side, the home screen on it essentially will say the heating and hot water pump is running, so it's heating the caravan. You've then got mains power coming into the caravan, and below that you've got your current room temperature. If we press the menu button, it will take us into the options. The top row here with the house, with the thermostat inside of it, is your room temperature, so you can go minus or plus to set your room temperature internally on the caravan. Below that you have your water temperature. So the shower symbol here is your water temperature. So you've got water on in the centre here, which will be around 35 to 40 degrees. Press the button again so this bar is completely full, and then it will go to water boost for when you're showering on board the van. So essentially that will allow the water system to boost so it gets nice and warm when you are showering. Below that you have the amount of power that is coming into the caravan from the site you are on. So some sites will have 1, 2 or 3 kilowatts available. If you're, so that is just to select the power that's coming into the van from the site you are on. If you are off-grid, you can also run the systems on gas. Once you've got a gas bottle connected and turned on, you can hit the gas button here at the bottom, If it ignites on gas, it will simply keep this green light lit here, and if it fails to ignite, it will come up with gas fail at the bottom of the screen with 2 flashing exclamation marks. There is some advanced settings in the control panel as well, which you can go through. You can do auto heating, so essentially it will come on and off as you need it to. And there are some advanced settings just in the bottom here. And for these two, we always advise you read the manual that comes with the caravan. So if I tried to explain in the video had gone for around 2 to 3 hours, which I'm sure at that point you'd be bored of hearing my voice. So that is your heating and hot water control panels. Next up is the fridge. The fridge is very simple to use. You've got power on the button on the left hand side. You've got the option to run gas if the gas is turned on. Now at the moment it's letting me know there is no gas going to the fridge, hence why it's flashing the flame symbol and flashing the red warning light on the right hand side. It will also do that if the fridge fails to ignite on gas. As you can see here, you have got a reset for the gas operation. To get it to reignite, you'll press and hold the button on the right hand side for a few seconds, and at that point it will start trying to reignite and you'll hear the clicker starting to work. If you want to run the fridge on 240 mains, you can do that by selecting the plug symbol just here. So when you've got power on site, go for 240. And on gas or mains, you control the temperature of the fridge on the button on the right hand side. If you're connected to the car and you're towing down the road and you want to use the fridge as a call box, you can press the 12 volt mode here. Now at the moment, again, it is flashing to let me know there is no power source coming to the fridge. You do not need to have the control panel on just inside the door, the master power switch. You just need to simply be connected to the car with the power switch turned off, turn the fridge on and select the 12 volt mode. Then when you get to site, if you've got the beers and wine in there, or the soda water for the tonic, gin and tonic, the water and the beers and the wine will be nice and cold. To turn the fridge off, you'll press and hold the power button and the fridge unit will turn back off. Eco microwave. So essentially you've got a button just here which allows you to turn the microwave on because it goes into like an eco mode essentially. You can turn the microwave on by pressing the eco button and it will wake it back up. We're going to go into the bathroom now and I'm going to explain the toilet system, which is the last point on the caravan we're going to go through. The toilet system flush runs off the water system on board the caravan, so the water system needs to be full for this to work. You'll use the electric flush, blue button on the wall here, to let the toilet system flush. You've got a toilet full indicator light here, which will illuminate red when the waste cassette is completely full. The toilet seat itself does actually turn for your convenience. As you can see, it moves away from the wall, etc. However, when you are emptying the waste cassette from underneath the van, it needs to be pointing, it needs to be square on with the back wall, or the panel behind the toilet system, sorry. This allows you to remove the cassette from under the van as it locks it in place when the toilet is turned. Below that you have your waste handle, which allows the waste into the toilet cassette under the van, and we do always advise you open that prior to using the toilet. If you have any further questions on the Elddis Super Sirocco, please don't hesitate to give us a call here at the Caravan Company and we'd be more than happy to help. We appreciate the business and we look forward to seeing you here on site soon when you collect the caravan. Thank you for now. Bye bye.